Good morning and welcome back to the channel for another video. I came home from Scotland yesterday. I'd not been home 24 hours when I jumped back in the car and headed back up to Scotland. So we're back in Scotland again. This is going to be a little bit of a different video though. I'm not going to be going for a certain subject. This video is going to be what it's like to go on holiday with Pops. We're sat currently at Oban Ferry car park waiting to get on the ferry. We're fingers crossed going to get on the earlier ferry. And you're probably thinking, where on earth's Pops? Well, he's at the toilet again. He's excited, and when he's excited, he's to and from that toilet like a yo-yo. We must have stopped half a dozen times on the way up here so he can have a wee. So that's the first thing I'm going to say, what it's like going on holiday with Pops. You've got to be close to the toilet at all times. So we're going to get the ferry, we're going to go over to Mull, we're going to do all the things that we would normally do in Mull, hopefully photograph some otters. We're on Mull charters tomorrow, we've got the photography trip tomorrow, so we'll definitely get some white-tailed sea eagles. So come along for the journey and see what it's like to go on holiday with Pops. So here he is, back from the toilet.
Well, that's what old men have to do, you see. Never miss an opportunity.
So I've just been explaining to everybody that it's about how excited you are.
Well, it is, yeah. Excited, nervous.
So it looks like we've got on the early ferry. Pops is panicking a little bit because it looks like they're reversing people into tiny little gaps where cars shouldn't go. But if it means we literally will get an hour extra on the island, and every hour counts. So come on, Pops, smile, it's not all that bad. So one of the things that we like doing when we come to Mull and we're on the ferry is coming up on the deck, getting on the edge, getting out your trusty binoculars, and then just keeping an eye out for what you can see. So we've already seen, I think, probably 2 common porpoise, some gannets, terns, possibly young guillemot. I wasn't 100% certain what they were on the water, but there's always stuff to spot when you're making the ferry crossing. It's definitely a really good opportunity to do so. And Pop says nothing. He is enjoying himself though, I promise.
I'm observing.
He's observing.
I'm observing.
A quick pit stop in the cafe. Got the old man all fueled up and ready to go. He can't go very long without a feed, you know what he's like. So we're going to, as we've got on earlier and we can't get into the lodge until 3:30, no point wasting any time, is there? So we're going to get on down to some of the locks and see if we can see any otters. So normally I'm driving on Mull, which means I don't have many opportunities to talk to camera whilst we're moving around. But one of the things that I would say, if ever you visit Mull, no matter where you're driving, you need to be constantly scanning the road in front of you, obviously, but also the fields on either side of you. You get short-eared owls, hen harriers frequently in the moorland at the side of you, so just keep your eyes peeled at all time. So we've been on the island
An hour?
an hour,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, an hour, and we've seen a white-tailed eagle, we've seen a merlin, possibly a merlin on the road,
Yeah.
and then we've just seen our first otter. And I would say we've probably just spent the best part of 40 minutes to 50 minutes with this otter. It had no idea that we were here whatsoever, did it, Pops?
None at all.
What was
None
it
at
like?
all. Oh, it was just awesome. Absolutely awesome. What a beautiful, beautiful creature.
I reckon it was probably a dog otter. It was quite a big otter, and it was fantastic. It was out in the water catching fish. Then it was coming in, and it looked to be searching for fish that it had perhaps cached previously, because it was in the kelp further up, and then it was kelp bashing. It was just going along the edge, finding little butterfish mainly that it was dispatching in the water. But it came out the water onto the bank several times, didn't it?
It certainly did. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. But you've got to be so careful. Slightest movement, and it's pricked its ears up. Wow, it spotted you.
Yeah, so twice it didn't spot us, but
No.
it spotted the cyclists that were coming along the road behind us.
Yeah.
And of course they stopped to look at the otter. Why wouldn't you? I think, you know, you'd be foolish not to.
Yeah.
But the squeak of the brakes and the movement on the road at the top, and that was enough to send it back into the water.
Yeah.
So we've left it now. We've come away from it, and it's carrying on fishing down the coastline, and we're going to go and get ourselves booked into the lodge that we're staying in for the next couple of days.
But hey, what a start. What
That's
a start.
Yeah.
Hey,
We were
fabulous.
expecting rain, and we've not had rain. It's sun shining, so long may it continue.
Yeah. Terrific.
Good morning, day 2.
Morning.
We've had a reasonably good night's sleep, to be honest with you.
Better than I expected.
Yeah, we're staying at our lodge, and it's not a bad little lodge, to be honest with you. We've got a little ensuite room with 2 single beds, and then there's a shared kitchen. And yeah, it was really good. So today is obviously the highlight of the week because we're on Mull Charters. It's always an absolute pleasure to be on Mull Charters. The lads that run it absolutely give you the best opportunities to photograph white-tailed sea eagles, and hopefully we'll have multiple visits from multiple pairs of birds to the boat. But of course it's wildlife, you're never ever guaranteed anything. I have been on this trip before and just had a single white-tailed eagle come to the boat, but then I've been on another trip and had 11 visits from white-tailed eagles, so you just never know. But it's always exciting, it's always something to look forward to, isn't it, Pops?
Absolutely. I mean, since we decided we were coming back to Mull, this has been just the highlight of the trip for me.
And it's one of those things that once you make the decision that you're coming to Mull, you need to book Mull Charters pretty much in advance. You know, don't leave it till the last minute, because it does book up very quickly. It's a very popular trip. There are 2 types of trips that you can go on. There is the eagle watching tours, and there is more of you on the boat there, and then there's the photography trips. And on the photography trips, it limits the number of people that are on the boat to give you that opportunity to be absolutely on the side of the boat to get the best photographs possible. But of course with that it's more expensive, but in all honesty I think it's worth the extra money that you pay. We've done this trip many times before. We've brought little kids on this trip. We know we brought my 2 nephews, and they absolutely loved it as well, because it's not just white-tailed eagles that you get to see. You know, when we went on that last trip, we saw a huge pod of dolphin. So you just never know. Just recently, the last couple of days, there's been reports of bottlenose whales in the Loch Nickel area. So you just never know what you're going to see. Minke whales possibility. They've photographed humpback whales before now. There's just lots and lots of possibilities. So come along for the journey and see what we see. Safety briefing done, and we're away. Pops is already checking over his camera settings and making sure everything's all okay. They do tell you right at the start that you've got to have your camera ready. You've no time to change lenses. Once them eagles arrive, they're pretty much in, out very quickly, so you've got to be on the ball with it. And as I said before, you know, if you get any opportunity to photograph any gulls as you're going out, just to get your eye in and get your practice in, I would definitely take that opportunity. It just means that you can take a few test shots, pixel peep, check your that your whites aren't overexposed, adjust your exposure compensation if you need to. It's actually brightening up, and the clouds are parting quite a bit now, so we're getting some clear sky and some very bright sunshine, so you just have to be a little bit cautious of the white feathers on the back of the white-tailed sea eagle. You do have a tendency to overcook those if you're not careful. First white-tailed seagull's been in, a male, absolutely fantastic. I didn't think he was going to bother. He was sat on the edge of the cliff for quite some time, and they threw a fish in. I thought about it, and then he just couldn't resist, and away he came in. Absolutely fantastic. We're being spoilt. We're being spoilt. So we've already had a male come in, then we had the female come in, and the female came in, and whilst the female came, we were all focused on the female, then another male snuck in, and so we've had 3 eagles to the boat now, and the male on the last one did something very out of character. For a change, it dived straight at the boat. Now usually you're getting a side-on view or a diagonal coming in. This one was almost parallel to the boat as it was diving in, and Alex has just been explaining that that's quite unusual. The wind is probably going to be destroying the audio now, but what do you think, Pops?
Oh, I'm breathless, totally breathless. That was awesome. Never seen anything like that.
No.
Like the male at the end there was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Coming straight at us. I thought it was going to hit me. I thought it was going to carry me off.
And we've only been on the boat, I'd say 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you know, this morning when I pulled the curtains back and I saw the wind and there was a threat of rain, I thought this is going to be a bit of a washout, but it was
Be of little faith.
fantastic.
Yeah, another great day.
We've just got back from Mull Charters, and it has yet again failed to disappoint. What a truly fabulous trip we have had. I think yesterday when they contacted us and said they were bringing it early because of the weather, I thought the worst, and
Yeah.
well, It's not been too bad, has it, Pops?
It's been one of the, well, it has been the best trip I've been on with Mull Charters. Absolutely amazing. For that, to witness that seagull coming directly at you was just phenomenal. It just blew my mind. Like I said at the time, I thought they were going to carry me off. Thought I was going to end up sitting in the nest with 2 chicks looking at me with napkins on and knives and forks. Absolutely brilliant.
I think we've had 5 visits in total, haven't we?
We had 5 visits.
5 visits from probably, I think, 3 or 4 individuals.
Yeah.
And the final one was the one that I've got the video for, and if I've not put it up yet, I'll pop it up now for you to see. This was a bird called Compo, and Alex and Mark on the boat reckon that he was the finest example of a white-tailed seagull, didn't they?
He did. He said you wouldn't see another white-tailed sea eagle as gorgeous as that one.
Yeah, and in particular, he almost hovers as he's coming in for the fish.
Yeah.
He kind of just hangs in the air, which is incredible. Good for photographs, but I was videoing at the time, so we're going to rely on Pops for the photographs for that one.
I think I might have 1 or 2, you know.
And how did you find the 100 to 400 for a focal length?
Absolutely perfect. Honestly, best lens I've used on that boat, because you got it at 400 as it's approaching in, and as it's coming closer and closer, you can just zoom out and zoom out and zoom out. And I reckon probably no less than about 300 I found that was the optimum.
Yeah.
When it was actually striking the fish in the water. About 300 was perfect, but as it was coming in, 400 perfect again. Perfect lens.
Yeah. I think if you're going with a prime, I actually think 300 would be better than a 400.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead right there.
Yeah.
I think 400 as a prime. I never switched to my 400 prime.
No.
Because I was just enjoying actually bringing it out and making sure I was clipping the wings.
Yeah. So it's only 12 o'clock. We've got a whole day ahead of us, so we're off to go and try and find some otters this afternoon. So stay with us, and I'm sure we'll have an equally fantastic afternoon, although the weather is set to change from what we've got at the minute to something a little bit damper.
Well, it is what it is.
Is this alright? Can you see me?
I'm not really a bad videoer, am I?
And the rain came tumbling down.
Wow, fantastic.
Oh, lovely.
Well, that was probably one of the best otter encounters I've had.
He even crawled up my trouser leg.